This conference will now be recorded.
Hi friends. So in the last class we discussed about the creation of string. So what is the purpose we can go for this thing and how we can create and what are the ways we can create an object for the string. So we observed the string creations. So like this is the way one we can create and we can create so using the byte and we can create characters. So and we can create integer as well. And in string we have a methods. So these are the methods are available in string to use like implement our logic, right? So what is the purpose we can provide? It is the fixed length characters and it is the immutable string. So what is immutable means once we create an object, so we cannot change the object. If you are trying to change, so one more new string is going to create. So this is the way the string is going to work, right? So in future we doesn't know the fixed length characters and we need the increasable or global character length. So what we can do, because so once we create an object we cannot change, right, as part of the string rules or the formulations, right? So in real-time application, so we cannot use more cases in all cases string, right? So if the user is having once already created the string object, if you are trying to change the username or password, so what will happen? So the password is going to affect, but when we are using the existing reference means, so these are the reference, we can call it as a S1 and S2 and S3. So these are the reference. So we are using the existing reference only, so that so we cannot get the new object. So that he changed the he, he updated the username or password, so we cannot get it. So because of it is the pixel length characters. Now for so pixel length characters, they release the one more string called the string buffer. One more release, they release the one more string object known as a string buffer. So here the string buffer, what is going to do? It is an global and writable character sequence. So internally it's having the behavior. So once we so the string buffer having some of the characters. So once the characters are increased, the once the characters are like full, so automatically it's going to create one more string buffer object, and existing objects is going to load it, as well as our new objects also is going to add it into the existing object. So this is the behavior. For example, so we have a string buffer object. So like we have a string buffer object. A, B, C, I created. A, B, C, I created. So as of now, the string buffer object is full. So again, I'm adding to the so same object. So same object means, so basically it's having the 16 character length. For by default, it's having the 16 character length. So once these characters are filled, so now one more big character is going to added into the existing one. So here what will happen? The existing characters are going to added first time. So like, and the new characters also is going to added. So the new characters are going to added into the last. So this is the behavior of the string buffer. So this is the behavior of the string buffer. So now exactly same opposite of the string. So string buffer can extend it, whereas in string it cannot extend it. It is a fixed length character. So this is the most behavior or the most different string and string buffer. Now we observe, and same as, so in string, so we have a lot of constructors, like, so this is the one way to create a string object, and this is the one more way to create a string object. So whereas it is the default. Now same like we have some constructors are available in string buffer. So what are the constructors? What are the constructors? So what are the constructors? So first thing, string buffer SB is equal to string buffer. So this is the default constructor. So whereas in, so so these are the four constructors are available in string buffer. So by seeing the four constructors, so we can observe so what type of object is going to store. So whereas in string, so we can add characters, we can add byte, we can add int, and we can add default, and we can add the string also we can add, right? So in string we have a lot of constructors, whereas in string buffer we have a four constructors. So what are those? So it is the default constructor. So once the default constructor is created, is going to create a 16 character space internally. 16 characters are going to store at a time. So this is the default behavior and dynamic int size. So what we are going to provide the size. So as part of our size, the object is going to create it. So you can make it in 5 or you can make it in 20. So what are the size you are going to create? Based on your size, the object is going to create it. And the third one, so we can use string as a, by using the string, by passing the string, so we can create a one more object called a string buffer. So how we can pass? Like we created yesterday string s is equals to new string of new string of new string of ABC. Now what we are doing? So this S reference we are passing to the here. So we are passing to the here. So that, so what will happen? Based on the string character, so the string buffer object is going to create it. Same like we have a char sequence. Whereas in char sequence, so whereas in fourth one is the characters. So directly we can pass the character. So that based on the characters, the object is going to create it. So these are the four constructors are available in string buffer. So now what if we want to perform some operations, we need a some method, right? So what are those methods we will see here? First method, first method length. So length, second method capacity. So capacity. See, so by using the string buffer, we can observe and identify the length of the string buffer, so that how many strings are stored in the string buffer, or else how many characters are stored in the string buffer, and so by default how many objects are stored in the string buffer. Using the length we can observe. So capacity. So capacity means so, so how many objects we can store, what are what is the space is available. So we can identify the using the so here so both methods are going to return the integer. So integer means what will happen here. So int means so for example the length is 25 and the capacity is 5. Capacity is 5. So like so these 5 and 25 are integer type. So that's the reason the capacity and length methods are going to return int type. Now so we will see an example how the capacity and length it will work. So now I'm like writing the example here. I'm not executing. So because we already executed number of objects. So by seeing the example we can easily observe. So now I'm creating a string buffer. Now I'm creating a string buffer. So RL so we create an object. I'm writing a program so that we can see the output on the console. You can see output on the console. So here SB and SB1 and SB2 and SB3. So that else so here this is an example which we are creating right now SB. So now what I'm doing system dot out dot println system dot out dot println. So first we will see in string buffer what is an objective store, right? Object of string buffer, object of string buffer. Let's SB, right? So now so object of SB. Now what we are doing here is so we are finding the length. So now copy the systems method. So how we can call SB dot length, SB dot length. So whereas capacity, SB dot capacity. So these are the methods. Go to command prompt. Java C StringBuffer.java, right? So now, oh, what is showing? Okay, so they're not identifying these errors. So let's comment out. CLS StringBuffer.java. So it's compiled successfully. StringBuffer, right? So see, so object of StringBuffer, what is? See, object of StringBuffer is hello and length 5, capacity 21. Capacity 21. So why capacity 21? So why capacity is 21? So because so every time the 16 characters are going to added, right? In the string buffer, we have a feature called 16 characters additionally added to the existing object. So that 16 plus 5, how much? 21, right? 16 plus 5. Because in existing object we have a 5, additionally the 16 characters are added. So the capacity is 25. So this is the length and capacity methods of works in string buffer. So now we have a one more method called ensure capacity. One more method called ensure capacity. So now what we'll write, ensure capacity. So how the ensure capacity method will work? So how the ensure methods its work means, we will see. So ensure capacity also same like the string buffer, the second constructor. So this is the second constructor. Here what we are doing, so we are giving a size so that the object, the string buffer object is going to create it, right? So whereas in once we create an object, if we want to modify an object, so using the ensure capacity, we can create it. So here the ensure capacity is taking parameter so that so how much the capacity you require to store in a string buffer object. So if you provide this to ensure capacity internally, for example, so 50, I given so ensure capacity 50 I provided. So the string buffer object internally is going to store how many characters? 50 characters we can store. So this is the method to use to set an object of the string buffer, right? And the set length method. So set length, we have a length method, right, to find the existing characters, and whereas in we can set the sum of the length also, sum of the length. Here to set the string within the string buffer object. So here we have a some disadvantage also is there. So what is the disadvantage is there? So we have, so once we increase and because we are what we are doing, just we set length means, so we are increasing the length of the string buffer object. So once we increase and length of the existing object. So we have a, for example, what I'm trying to say here is 5. So it is by seeing the length here, what is the output we got it? 5, right? Now I increase it to 20. So remaining 15, so it's remaining 15 characters are storing as a null, storing as a null, because so just we increased the length of a string buffer object, but we did not added any values into the increased object, right? So the increased values are by default null. So by default will null, and so if we use the current method, so if you look, if we use the length method, so we can find the newly added the length, right? So now we have a one disadvantage here is, so we have a length is equals to 5, length is equals 5. Again, I am adding the length to 2. I am adding length to 2. So we have a by default as part of this object we have a length 5. Now I am adding to the 2. So the remaining 2 characters are going to lose. So we cannot get it the 3 characters which we defined earlier. Because earlier we have an object of 5, we are reducing to the 2. So if you reduce the 2, the remaining 3 characters or 3 objects are we cannot find it. So this is the most disadvantage using set length method. So when we are using the set length, we need to use carefully. So this is the set and ensure capacity. Now, now we have a one more methods called caret and set caret, caret and set caret, caret and set caret. So by seeing method, we can observe. So caret means so we can find the particular character in the indexes, because the string and string buffer are going to store in the arrays side. So what how the arrays look like? So this is an array is going to look like, right? 0, 1 and 2, 3. So here in 0 it's going to add A and B and C. So like so 0, 1, 2. So if you provide the caret of 1, so the B is going to return. So like the caret method will work. And set caret, so what is going to do? If we want to change the C value, set cat 2 comma, so what is the value we need to give? Here it is, if you are trying to give D. So the D method is going to work. So D is going to print. So now we will see the output. So here, now what I'm doing here is just I'm adding to the. So we know that object and length of the and capacity. Now we want to see some of the caret of 1, caret of 1. So we need to find the caret of 1. So one more is I am adding dot sb dot set caret uh, so 1 comma I am adding the I am adding I. So see the how the objects are going to set it properly. After that we need to print we need to print after that we need to print sp dot caret of 1. So we will need to print caret of 1. Change it to caret functionality caret, and this is also caret function. After changing the caret, after changing the caret method, so save. What happened? Not loading properly. Again, we'll call this Java C StringBuffer.java, right? So it is compiled successfully. Java StringBuffer. See, so object of StringBuffer is hello. So object of StringBuffer is hello, and whereas length is 5 and capacity how much 21. Now we change the caret of StringBuffer. So we created static number 1. So that what is the here in character 1 is showing the E, and after adding I it's printed. After adding I, so we will see how it works internally. So this is an H, and this is an E, and this is an L. One more, this is an L, and like we have a finally what is 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? So these are the indexes. These are the indexes. So these are the objects which we created earlier, right? So now I pointed to the caret of 1. Caret of 1. So it's printed E. It's printed E, right? It's printed E. Printed E, right? So again, what we did, we changed it to I. The E is gone. The I enter here at particular index of one location. Now, if we say the caret of 1, finally we got an output called I. Output called. So this is the so these are the two methods, caret and set caret functionality. It's working how. So by seeing this method, we can observe how we can set and set caret, or we can get to the character of the particular index. So this is the behavior of set caret and set caret functionality, and get char. So we have a one more method called get char. So what is going to do get char? So sb.getChar is going to return all object. It's going to return all object. So we will see that one also how the. So here if you want to see, so we need because getChar is going to return something. We need to find. So first what I'm doing. So just I'm printing getChar. Let's see. So what is going to, because the get char is returning something, we need to hand it, but by default we will see how it's going to work. See, it's showing an error. So sb.getChar. So what's showing? No suitable method found for getChar. No arguments. No arguments. So what is showing? So here we need to add some of the arguments. Arguments means parameter list. So we know that parameter list. So it's taking some parameters. From how many objects do we need to get it? So from the existing array. How many objects? So for example, we have a length of 5, right? So length of 5, in that how many objects we require to get it? So from the one index to fourth index, like we need to provide. So 1 comma 1 comma 4, 1 comma 4. So now we will see the output. So source starter and end start, car targets and car target starts. So it's taking 4 parameters. So we given the 2 parameters. So it's taking 2 parameters. Let's see it will work or not. We will find it. StringBuffer.java. No. So we need to provide the 4 characters. Sorry, arguments 4. So the getChar functionality, how it's going to work means, the first one is source indexing, and the second one is end of the index, and whereas how many characters. So we need to provide the character information also, and the last one target star, where we can start it. So it's taking 4 parameters. Again we can provide the 0. So these 4 parameters we need to provide to get the characters. So most of the cases we cannot use this getChar functionality. So now we will move to the other one method which is available in StringBuffer. So what is the method here? It is append. So append method. So how the append method will work? Append method means, so if we are adding dynamical list to the existing object. So if we want to add the object to the existing string buffer object, we can go for the append method. So in this append method internally, it's a overloaded method. Overloaded method means we have a same method available in the string buffer, whereas in the parameter list is different. Parameter list is different. So one is taking string object, one more taking integer, one more taking the object class as a parameter. So append is how many methods are available in string buffer. So 3. So one is string str, one more append, second int num, one more append, taking object. So these are the 3 methods are available in string buffer class. So these are the overloaded methods. So we can specify, you can add the string and you can add the integer, you can add object. So these are the 3 methods are available in string buffer to add an object to the existing string buffer object. So once we call the append method, so the objects are going to add plus some height. So again if we append, so ABC. So like the object are going to add it, hello plus hi plus ABC. So if you print the finally SB, so hello hi SB, hello hi ABC like is going to print. So based on your append method is going to add the end of the existing object. So we can get it the information. So insert method. So insert method also same like set char methods only. But whereas the insert method taking so string and character and object. So whereas in the set char is going to take only character object. Here it's taking the tree. Internally it's having the same properties called pre-ordered method. Inside int what is an int here? Int index. Int index comma string str. So this is the one method and one more method here it is int index object obj and one more method int index and char. So these are the three methods. See, by seeing the method we can observe int index. So we can specify the index where the string object we need to change. We need to give the specific index like 0, 1, 2, 3 values here. So we can give the string object. And here we can specify the index and we can give the object as a object so that the existing object is changed to the new object. So whereas the same thing, the existing character is going to change and newly added it's working. So these insert is same as a set char. So whereas these two are the different. So we can add the string and we can add the object. Right. So this is the insert method. So whereas the reverse, so we have a reverse method also available in StringBuffer. So we can reverse the existing object into the reverse type. So for this we can go for the reverse method. And one more method. So delete and delete character. So if we are using the delete, so entire the whole object is going to deleted. Entire whole object is going to deleted. So and we have a one more method delete caret. Delete so that we can specify the character which we want to delete. So that we can go for it delete caret. And this is entirely is going to delete a whole object in the StringBuffer into the StringBuffer and replace. So we have a one more method. So that is replace. So if you want to replace an existing object, so we can go for the replace method. So these are the methods are available in StringBuffer. So this is the purpose. So we can go for the StringBuffer object. So now we observe. So the difference is string to StringBuffer, right? String is a global character length. So and writable character length StringBuffer. Whereas in string, it's a fixed length character. So this is the main difference, and we need to observe and practice so that we can know these methods, how many methods are available, and what is the purpose of each method. So and tomorrow one more important concept we are going to discuss, that is exception handling. So what is the exception handling? What is the purpose of exception handling? We will see in tomorrow class.